There's something nobody tells you when you become a man before you ever made a single conscious decision about who you wanted to be. Your brain had already been trained, not by you, by watching, by surviving, by absorbing every argument, every silence, every moment your father walked out of the room instead of staying in the conversation. You didn't choose those lessons, but they're in you, running quietly in the background like software you never installed yourself. And here's what's strange. Most men who repeat their father's emotional patterns have no idea they're doing it. They think they're just the way they are. They think it's personality. It's not. It's inheritance. Today, we're going to look at 6 signs that your father's emotional blueprint is still running your life without your permission. Now, before we get into the signs, I want to say something important. This is not about blame. This is not about your father being a bad person. Most fathers did exactly what their fathers taught them, and their fathers before that. This is about pattern recognition, because you cannot change what you cannot see. So let's make it visible. Sign 1, you shut down when emotions get intense. You're in an argument, or someone close to you is upset, and something inside you just goes cold. You don't mean to, but you withdraw. You get quiet. You leave the room, physically or emotionally. Psychologists call this emotional stonewalling, but here's what's really happening underneath it. When you were young, and the emotional temperature in the house rose, maybe your father went silent, maybe he left, maybe he got explosive. Your nervous system learned one thing: intense emotion, a danger. Shut down to survive. That was a brilliant strategy at 7 years old. The problem? You're still using it at 35, and the people around you, your partner, your kids, they don't experience it as protection, they experience it as abandonment. Sign 2, affection feels awkward. Even when you want to give it, you love the people in your life. That's not the question. The question is, can you show it? Not just doing things for them, providing, fixing, showing up practically, but actually saying it, holding, being present without an agenda. A lot of men had fathers who loved them deeply and showed it through action rather than words or physical warmth. Worked 60 hours a week for you. That's love. And it was. It genuinely was. But the body keeps score. If you were rarely held, rarely told I love you, your nervous system learned that emotional closeness is either unnecessary or uncomfortable. So now, even when the people you love need warmth from you, there's this invisible wall. You're not cold. You're just trained. Sign 3, you handle stress the same way he did. Think about this honestly. When life gets hard, when work is overwhelming, when a relationship is struggling, when you feel out of control, what do? Do you drink? Do you disappear into work? Do you get irritable and pick fights about small things? Do you go completely silent for days? Now think about your father. What did he do when he was stressed? If you just felt something shift in your chest, that recognition, that's because coping mechanisms are one of the most deeply inherited emotional patterns there. They get passed down, not through conversations, but through observation. You watched how a man handles pressure, and without anyone telling you to, you copied it. The scary part, you might not even realize it's a coping mechanism. You just think it's how you deal with things. Sign 4, conflict in your home follows the same script. Every family has a conflict script. Some scripts sound like silence, then explosion, then apology, then silence again. Some sound like avoidance until it becomes resentment. Some sound like one person dominates, the other shrinks. Look at the conflicts in your closest relationships right now. Look at the pattern, not the specific argument, the pattern. How does it start? How does it escalate? How does it end or not end? Chances are very high that if you slow it down, you'll find a rhythm that's familiar, because you didn't just learn what conflict looks like. You internalized it as the definition of conflict. Your nervous system believes this is just how people fight. But it's not how people fight. It's how your family fought, and there's a difference. Sign 5, you struggle to ask for help, especially emotionally. There's a particular kind of loneliness that comes with this one. you're carrying something heavy. You're overwhelmed. You might even be drowning, and still, asking for help feels almost impossible, not because you're too proud. Or at least, not only that. It's because help-seeking requires emotional vulnerability. And if your father was a man who handled everything alone, who never showed weakness, who solved his own problems insolence, you absorbed that model completely. A real man figures it out himself. That belief doesn't live in your head as a conscious thought. It lives in your body as resistance, as that locked-up feeling right before you'd have to say, "I'm not okay. I need help." The men who repeat this pattern the hardest are often the ones carrying the most, completely alone. Sign 6. You love through doing, not through being. This one is subtle, and it might be the most important. You show love by providing, by solving, by planning the trip, fixing the problem, earning the money, making sure everyone is okay, and that is love, genuinely. But sometimes the people around you don't need you to do anything. They just need you to better, fully, emotionally present. Not fixing, just feeling it with them. And if that's where you go blank, if presence without a task feels purposeless or uncomfortable, it's worth asking, did your father know how to just be with you? Or was he always moving, always doing, always a little elsewhere? Because loving through doing is often how men love, when they were never taught that simply being was enough. So, 6 signs. Shutting down when emotions get intense, struggling to show warmth and affection, copying his stress responses, repeating his conflict patterns, never asking for help, loving through doing instead of being. Now here's what I want you to hold on to. None of this makes you broken. These patterns were survival strategies. They were formed by a child's brain trying to make sense of the world it was born into. The fact that they're still running doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. But here's the thing about patterns. Once you can see them, they lose power over you. The moment you catch yourself stonewalling and think, wait, this is the pattern, you've already created space between the pattern and the choice. That space is where change lives. You don't have to become a completely different person. You just have to become a slightly more conscious one. And that, passed down to the people who are watching you right now, that's the inheritance worth leaving. If this video hit something real for you, share it with someone who needs to see it. And if you want to go deeper on emotional patterns and psychological identity, subscribe. This is what we do here.